When a person gets a cut, is it better to wipe off the blood or let the blood coagulate to protect the cut? Hi, medic here. It depends. For the sake of the conversation, I'm going to assume you mean something like a run-of-the-mill, basic cut. You nicked yourself shaving, or your knife slipped a little when you were cutting veggies. Nothing that would require sutures. Typically, it's best to wash the cut with antibacterial soap, like Dial, and warm water. That probably constitutes wiping it away, but only to get any dirt, nasties out of the cut. You do this because when you do hold pressure to stop the bleeding, you don't want to keep the trapped nasties in there. So technically, it's better to take a little of column A, a little of column B. After your cut has been wiped clean, put steady pressure on it until it clots, then put a layer of protectant, Neosporin or the like, and a bandage, Band-Aid, gauze over it to help it heal. Now, if you're talking about a trauma situation, it's a little different. Say, for example, you're first responding to a motorcycle accident and this dude's calf is just wrecked to hell, blood everywhere, gravel everywhere inside the laceration. Your best bet isn't to keep wiping the gash continuously. You need to apply direct pressure first and foremost to stop the bleeding. Wiping it will do nothing and not allow the blood to clot properly. Pop a tourniquet on too. This includes keeping the nasties and gravel and all. Unfortunately, the hospital will properly clean and suture when they arrive. Motorcycle dude has bigger issues than a little dirt and gravel right now. You don't want to be exsanguinated just because you kept wiping blood. Wiping continuously doesn't really promote clotting factors, nor allows platelets to form to stop the blood. It's why you are always taught direct pressure anytime there is blood leaking from a wound that shouldn't be there. TLDR. When in doubt, keep pressure on it. I hope this makes sense and answers your question. I'm on maternity leave, pregnant AF, insomnia and heartburn have kept me up for over a day. Edit. Holy shit, rip inbox. I wake up because my son decided to falcon punch my bladder after I could finally go to sleep. Weird sensation from the inside out. And I have 100 plus comments, replies, and messages. Obligatory thank you for the gold. Now, a few clarity points. For my first basic scenario, I used a common example of what might happen at home, what people have at home to use. Water and really any kind of soap is fine. Dial soap is just what I've been taught to use if I have it, and many of my colleagues do too. I hate it though, but I'm also allergic to a lot of other cleansing agents and have to stick with it. Personally, I don't think water temperature makes a difference in the basic cut situation. I cut myself in the shower shaving the other day, big, OL32W pregnant belly over here, and I just let it run in the shower, cleaned with soap, but it didn't clot until after I got out and put pressure. Every person's clotting factor is different, your mileage may vary from others. It takes me 20 minutes to stop a simple little cut like that, whereas my husband just washes and slaps a band-aid on it and forgets about it in 3 minutes. On using alcohol, sticking your finger in your mouth as long as it's rubbing alcohol or peroxide, I don't see why you couldn't dab a bit on. We carry it in the ambulance in situations like this. Since we don't exactly have a sink with soap and water. If the drinking alcohol, high proof, you want to use is fresh, unopened, or ensure that nobody has drank from the bottle directly. I've never used drinking alcohol as a sanitizer, so I couldn't tell you. As for sticking your finger or cut in your mouth, I'm completely guilty of doing this too. But just keep in mind that human mouths are nasty AF. We treat human bites way more aggressively than dog or animal bites, save for snakes, because venom. Human mouths are just filthy. I learned how gross our mouths are and made a conscious effort to stop sticking my cut-up hands, arms in my mouth. Google some human bites and look at when they get infected. They aren't pleasant. After seeing some in the field and looking at the infections they harbor, I wouldn't ever consciously do it again, but I mean, you do you. Like I said, I'm guilty of it too, and I think it's a bit of a reflex if I'm honest. So many people do it. I'm too tired to do any link adding, so if someone wants to add it, I'll put it here. On tourniquets. A little background for those that don't know me. Before I got off the truck due to my little parasite I have affectionately decided to raise, I work in a huge metropolitan area with a combo critical care, 911 system. I'm mainly on the CCT, critical care transport, side. Meaning we transferred people from hospital to hospital, higher level of care, etc. Got to see some gnarly stuff. We also backflowed our 911 areas when they got busy, so I've seen some crap there too. Tourniquets are coming back into the mainstream. Using a tourniquet is simple, easy, and, in my opinion, should be part of a public safety course, first aid, CPR for civilians. You have hours, if tourniquet applied correctly, before you risk any harm to the limb. And remember, life limb, regardless, so that argument is out. You do not need to loosen it every 15 minutes. That's the exact opposite of what you're trying to do. You do need to check for pulses in the extremity very frequently if you feel one, readjust till there isn't one. Double tourniquets are a thing, I've had to do it on people before. You are restricting blood flow. A pulse means that the person has blood flow and they will continue to bleed out. Once you apply it, hospital staff need to be the ones removing it, not you. In my trauma scenario, I pictured a free-flowing bloody calf that got ripped to shreds by a gravel road and is squirting blood that you can't stop with direct pressure alone. Guess I should have said femoral, I wasn't thinking straight. Either way, put the tourniquet on the femoral artery, as high as you can, and cinch it tight. If that doesn't help, double tourniquet it. Tourniquets are a very underrated emergency medical device, in my opinion. We carry several on the ambulance. They're good use for GSWs, deep cuts, lacerations, arterial bleeding from pretty much anywhere. It's easier to remove a tourniquet than remove a limb. We might use them more than you think. Open fractures that are bleeding and you can't put pressure on because bone is protruding, etc. They're very useful and can be used for several situations. Another local EMS company near me actually does civilian first aid training, and they are doing a good job in removing public stigma around tourniquets in our huge metropolitan area. Stop the bleed is really great too. As for in-field debridement, if I have the chance to squirt some saline and remove the dirt from a wound, and the bleeding iodine monosulfide controlled, I do en route to the hospital. If they're so messed up that I got called because of a GSW or severe accident, I'm going to be a little too busy maintaining airway, keeping BP up, etc. to do much. We'll be at the facility that can take their time to clean it properly versus my crude knock-up job when I really need to focus on doing other things. If I have an extra hand or some firefighters, I might ask them to help me if I have everything else under control. Oh, to my fire guys, you rock. I hope I answered all the questions and cleared some stuff up in the edit. I will totally try to get back to all that commented. Baby boy is craving some tacos, now I gotta go make some tacos at 7 a.m. My husband will be very confused when he wakes up, lol.